Welcome to Paulsboro. This is not a Halloween special. This ensemble is for an important purpose today, and it's a little bit of a different show for us, but one we talked about doing with Dr. DiMarino a few years ago, and the schedule fell. So, Irma, here we are in Woodbury at 6:45 in the morning.
John, you look marvelous in your new gown. I think you should wear it to the legislative when you pass a lot of legislator. Maybe they'll, you know.
I could use
I could
use a little bit of color. But we got up early today for a procedure that I've been through on 3 other occasions for a colonoscopy. And when Dr. DiMarino and I visited last time, we talked about the fact that people don't like to talk about this. And when I get in these conversations, particularly men are very squeamish about this procedure. So we thought it may be helpful, and with the doctor's willingness to do it, we're going to follow me through this procedure, properly edited for television, by the way. So if you're eating dinner, you'll be able to finish your meal. But when we come back, we're going to go start to finish. We're going to visit with Dr. DiMarino, Dr. Dragon, who is the anesthesiologist. Irma is going to be with me, and we hope, if I'm standing at the end of the day, to do community notes. So stay with us. We're coming right back.
Multi-policy discount, paperless discount, paid in full discount, homeowners discount, safe driver discount, chipmunk family reunion, someone stole the nuts, squirrel jail, justice.
Countless discounts. Now that's progressive. Call or click today.
Thinking about a new appliance or an LCD TV? Don't think twice. Think Weiss. Weiss True Value has a full line of LCD TVs plus a great variety of appliances. And of course, hardware items like TrueTest paints, Master Mechanic tools, electrical supplies, key duplicating, and Rug Doctor rentals. And for repairs on screens and windows, look no further. Weiss True Value, from making keys to selling appliances and LCD TVs. Don't think twice. Think Weiss. 39 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
For everything, there's a season, and a time for everything under heaven. A time for sharing, a time for caring, a time for remembering, and a time for parting. When that time arrives, let Beth McBride Foley and Thomas D. Foley at the McBride Foley Funeral Home help you in your time of need. Offering a wide variety of funeral services from cremation to traditional, McBride Foley Funeral Home has been helping families with the loss of a loved one with over 50 years of combined service. McBride Foley Funeral Home, 228 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
Welcome back. It's procedure day, and we're going to go, as I said, from start to finish on this. With me now is Dr. DiMarino. Of course, he is well known to viewers all through this area and enjoys national prominence with regards to this area of discipline and practice, and I feel always very safe in his company with regards to medical care. So first of all, Doctor, thanks for having us in. You've got the whole side show. You've got Fred behind the camera, you've got Irma, and we've invaded the office.
Absolutely, and we have a great team ready to assist when we get going.
So actually, it was half your suggestion that to let people see this, because it's important for people at a certain point to take advantage of this procedure.
Right. You know, Katie Couric did this back in the mid-'90s, and it got a lot of prominence. It led to an explosion of people interested in doing things to prevent serious problems down the road. Colonoscopy happens to be one of those tests which actually should lead to saving lives. In fact, has been shown to save lives by detecting a polyp before it turns into something more serious.
Well, I've been with you. I think this may be my 4th procedure as I think about it, because my grandfather, my father's father, had died of colon cancer. In fact, he was under the treatment of your father then when he started to practice in Paulsboro. And these kinds of procedures weren't thought of at that time, or at least not in the general stream as they are now. So I've been with you, I think, again, 4th time. I think you took polyps from me maybe my first visit.
Right, you did. You had a precancerous polyp. It was not cancer, fortunately, but it was the type that if you leave alone, about 30% of such polyps will go on to cancer. So we got rid of it before it led to a problem, John. The last time you had this was about 5 years ago, which is the stated interval that we'd like to see people come back. The reason for that is because 30% of the time when you have a polyp, you have a chance for another polyp developing. And if you don't remove them, as I said, it happens to be another 30% that will go on to cancer. So it's a preventative measure which has been shown to be effective in saving lives.
This procedure, as you're going to see, of course, I'm hoping that Dr. Dragon, the anesthesiologist, is going to put me in another place, so I'm not even going to know what's happening. But this is not a long procedure. No,
this should take, if it's with no problems encountered, which, of course, most of the time that's the case, it should take 20 minutes tops.
And the prep was not, that's one of the things that people want to talk about. That's even changed over these handful of years.
It is. It has, rather. There are a number of new preparations, including one which uses Gatorade and Miralax, which a lot of folks like to use because it has more taste and it's more palatable. People tolerate it a little bit better. Unfortunately, you have to do something to get cleaned out. So that means spending a little time in the bathroom and getting your intestines so that when I look with the scope, we'll be able to see every little nook and cranny and see if there's any polyps that would develop and pick them up at a very small stage.
Well, I did the Gatorade this time around as suggested. I took 2 pills of laxative in the midday and then 32 ounces of Gatorade over 40 minutes, and then came back 3 hours later and took the balance of it. And I called in to Melissa, Dr. DiMarino's assistant. I wanted to mix Kettle One vodka in with each glass because I figured one shot with 8 ounces would equal martini in a setting, and I was told I couldn't do that, and that was because of dehydration.
Yeah, there's a number of very creative solutions to the preparation problem, but unfortunately alcohol is not one of them.
Unfortunately. But by the way, not bad. And I think diet leading into that has something to do with it, but you just have to plan the day. And it's not something that causes you to be out of control. You just have to be prepared to go when it's time to go. So that's one of the things that when I talk to people, they get very concerned about the preparation. It's not unmanageable. Just got to be in the right frame of mind. So, Doctor, I guess from here, the anesthesiologist is coming, the nurse is coming, and then we're in the room.
Right. Is there the other question I should ask you, is there anything happened since I've seen you related to your intestines? Have you had any more bleeding, for example, or pain or change in your bowel habit, per se?
Been very fortunate. Janice insists on a very, very high fiber diet, and then I medicate in the other direction as I talk once a day with a little bit of gentle libation, just to, as the American Medical Association speaks about.
Approved, absolutely approved. Within moderation. Within moderation.
Within moderation. And aside from the legislative process, everything's pretty good.
Very good. Okay.
Very good. We'll be right back. We're going to visit the anesthesiologist. They're going to get me ready, and then Fred is going to be in the room. Irma's in the background, by the way. She's a nurse. She's here to supervise. We'll be right back. A very important component to this procedure, at least from my standpoint as the patient, is not being awake. I like that part very, very much. With me now is Dr. Dragon. He's the anesthesiologist and has been in this practice a good many years, and I've been with him on other occasions of great confidence. So, Doctor, what do you do to me?
Well, I'm going to be giving you your Kettle One vodka, but in a different form. I'll be watching you through the entire procedure. I'm going to make sure that you're very comfortable, that you're sleeping through the procedure, and that everything's done in a very safe manner.
And what will, I mentioned to you after the last time I was with you, how rested I was when I woke up, and this product you're using.
Well, we use several different medications, and of course I would tailor the anesthetic to your medical conditions. You're a very healthy young man, so it's a little simpler. In your case, the primary drug that I use is propofol, which is an anesthetic that allows you to sleep through the procedure. I also give you a drug called Versed, which relaxes you and does cause a little bit of amnesia to the procedure. So it does take a few minutes to wake up afterwards.
So when I come back to do community notes with Irma Stevenson after the procedure, it could be interesting?
Yes, it could be. And as I said, you might not want to legislate today.
Or maybe it's not a bad idea. Could be better. Thank you, Dr. Dragon. We're going to head now forward. The nurse is going to join me, and we're going to go into the room.
You do have a few restrictions for 12 hours. All of these are written down for you, so you don't have to worry about trying to remember all this information. We don't want you to drive, drink alcohol, take extra sedatives, make any legal decisions. You can eat your normal diet as soon as you leave today. After the test, you want to watch for severe abdominal pain, fever, passing a large amount of blood rectally. It's all rare, and I know you've had these before. If you have any problems, any questions, give us a call. There'll be a phone number highlighted on the front of the page. So we'll get your IV started here.
This is the part I like the least, by the way. Yeah. I'm okay with everything else. It's the IV that bothers me.
Yeah, a lot of people are that way. All right, I'm just going to have you drop your hand down here for me.
Is this how the anesthesia goes in as well?
It does. They don't give it to you till right before they start the exam. But it all goes through the tubing. Once we get the IV started initially, it all goes through the tubing, so you won't get stuck again. Okay, sweet little pinch here. We're good to go. Good.
Yeah, that was
Well, you have a good vein there too, so that's helpful.
That's what I brought this morning.
It's a team effort.
Yes.
So once, since Dr. Dragon's already spoken to you, they'll take you to the procedure room in the back. Once you're back there, he'll put oxygen in your nose, hook you up to monitors for your heart and blood pressure. And then they'll put your head down. You're going to be over on your left side for the exam. Once you're positioned, they give you the medicine right through the tubing here, so you won't get stuck again. You're going to fall right asleep. When you wake up, you'll be on the other side of the room. That's the recovery area over there, and I'll be recovering you. Once you're awake enough, we sit you up, get you something to drink. We'll have your driver help you get dressed, and then you meet with the doctor before you go for your results.
Wonderful.
Any questions for me?
That really sounds good.
Okay.
So really all I have to do is lay here.
Pretty much. The rest is sleeping. It's easy going from here on.
Thank you.
Life is a journey that we travel with a lot of uncertainty. When your family is faced with change and you're in need of understanding, direction, honesty, and professionalism, we at the Landolfi Funeral Home have a tradition of assisting you with all of your needs in any way that we can. We offer many affordable funeral services. Please feel free to call us with any questions you may have or visit us at www.landolfifuneralhome.com.
Rizzo Family Chiropractic Center in Gibbstown offers pain relief with a difference. Using specific chiropractic adjustments, Rizzo Family Chiropractic will get to the root of your problem quickly. Bring your headaches, neck, back, joint, or limb pain to Dr. Karen Rizzo. If you have recurring pain, chiropractic can help. Rizzo Family Chiropractic can relieve many sources of pain without extended treatment and ongoing therapy. Give your family the gift of caring professional pain relief with a difference. Rizzo Family Chiropractic.
And what procedure are you having today?
A colonoscopy.
And what doctor is doing your procedure
Dr.
today?
DiMarino.
Everyone agree?
Yes. All right, John, I'm going to begin with a little relaxer. Sometimes you might feel a little burn in the hand with this going in. And then we're going to get you in position, and then I'm going to give you your double vodka, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
John, we're going to lay your head down.
No olives, please.
Just the way I like it.
So what we're doing now is John is getting some medication to relax him. And we're getting ready to start the examination whenever the anesthesiologist says we're okay to start. We're monitoring his blood pressure, his heart rate, his vital signs, the amount of oxygen in his blood. And Dr. Dragon is monitoring the patient and all the vital signs while we get ready to start. Sherry, our head nurse, is always in attendance watching over the patient so that we have at least 6 eyes that are looking at the patient at all times. That's important to monitor him and how he's doing during the procedure as well as what we find. All right, we're getting started, and this is where we'll be at the procedure. So we've entered the lower end of the colon, which is the rectum. It's actually called the last 5 or 6 inches of the colon is called the rectum. And then we're going into the sigmoid colon, which is the end of the colon before the very end, before the rectum. Now what you see right here, or what we'll see very shortly, is a diverticulum, likely. These are little outpouchings on the colon, which occur over time. They're very common. They're usually not a problem unless they get infected, and that's called diverticulitis. And there's the first outpouching on the left-hand side. You see a little opening here, that's the opening of the colon, and just to the left of it is a little pouch that is a diverticulum, one little pouch. That's a diverticulum right there in the center of the screen. And yet this is the opening of the colon here. So that little pouch is just a little area in the wall of the colon which extends out away from the opening of the colon itself and can collect some air and gas and fluid and materials. Here we see a couple of diverticuli. You want to point those out for us, Ryan? It's a big diverticulum there, and here's the opening. Point the opening to the colon, there. So we're going to go down here. What you don't want to do is you don't want to put the scope through a diverticulum. That's what can account for one of the complications of colonoscopy. Colonoscopy has a complication rate of about 1 in 1,000, almost every study, and those complications usually include perforation where the scope goes through the wall of the bowel. And that could occur at a point of a diverticulum, or could occur at a point of a weakness in the bowel wall itself. And then it has to be identified quickly, can be fixed internally with a clip by the gastroenterologist, or it may have to require surgery to fix an opening, because you don't want to get peritonitis, which is the leakage of intestinal contents into the abdomen itself. Irma, you have any questions? Irma's a nurse, and she's had a lot of experience on the floors of getting the patients ready for these procedures, answering their questions. What can I expect? What will happen? Will I have discomfort? Will I,
And some have fears, about it, and you have to say, you'll be out, you'll be asleep, you're going to break hands, and, comfort them. And I think the worst thing was the gowns go like this.
So that's changed a little bit, Irma. Still, we use that prep occasionally.
Right.
So what we're doing now is we're going up through the colon all the way to the end. And when we come down, we're looking as we go in. But if you notice, there's some fluid along the ways. We'll look when we come out. The bowel wall itself will change. The position will change because we'll have the scope into the abdomen itself. And then we'll also clear this out along the way. So we'll get a really good look coming out. We're getting a look going in, and we are taking out, we have suction so that we can take some of this fluid out of the colon. And of course, the nice part is that Dr. Dragon has our assemblyman well sedated. He's comfortable. His blood pressure and vital signs. Glenn, everything okay from your viewpoint?
Looks perfect.
Good. And that's very comforting to me. I can concentrate on the patient, and then I know that he's being well taken care of and watched by Dr. Dragon, also by Sherry, our nurse. We have Melissa, who's actually here in the room right now, doing some computer work for us. And Melissa's the one who actually talked with John on the phone about his preparation. And I think he said that he asked Melissa if he could take vodka with the preparation. I'm sure that was half in jest, maybe not half in jest. What do you think, Irma? Knowing your friend the way
it wasn't in jest. He really meant it. He called me up and asked, and I said, "John, don't you dare." The nurse said no, and no.
So now we're approaching the very end of the colon, near where the appendix would be and where the small intestine meets the colon. And we're just about at the end here now. What we're doing is we're cleaning this up. Sherry, do we have the irrigator here? Yeah. So Sherry, what's the biggest complication you see when we do this procedure?
It's they don't have a good prep is one, because then we can't see polyps clearly. The prep isn't clear.
What you see here, we're looking at the area of the appendix right in the center. And what you see a little redness, that's because we're trying to get all the fluid out of his colon. It's a very good preparation, actually. He did a good job getting cleaned out. So he followed the instructions. But everybody, often there's a little tiny bit of fluid, which is what we're seeing now. That little red area is normal. That's not abnormal tissue. That's the suction trying to clear out all the fluid. And when it does it, sometimes it attaches to the wall of the bowel, and that makes it seem red for a few minutes. Those little red spots will completely disappear. All that is just like it's like having suction on your skin. It'll appear red for a bit, but that'll go away within a matter of minutes. And now we're getting a good look at the cecum, which is the very end of the colon. And what you're seeing is the ileocecal valve, which is the connection device between the small intestine and the large intestine. Ryan, you want to point that out for us? Oops, go ahead. That's the valve up there, and the appendix is down there. We already took a picture of the appendix. We're taking a picture of the valve, and that documents that a complete examination has occurred. And now what we'll do is we're going to come back out, and we're going to look very carefully as we come out. You have that washcloth for me? I didn't get a picture yet? You didn't get a picture of the appendix yet? No. No? Okay.
Just good enough.
And there's the valve at the top of the screen is the valve. It looks kind of full. What it is it works. Here's a better picture of the valve here.
This anatomy lesson is better than looking in a book.
Well, it's a moving person. Good job, John. Very good job in getting cleaned out. Thank you. have to look very carefully at the fold, the lining itself. And so far looks very good. I think you can appreciate, the viewers can appreciate how important the preparation is, because if you have any kind of stool or any type of solid material here, it's you can't clear that out as the way you can the fluids. So, and the patients often ask Irma about whether or not they're embarrassed and so forth. But as you can see, John is fully covered, and this is the way we do every patient. There's not, they're covered so that unnecessary exposure is avoided. Sometimes you get a little dizzy if you're not used to it with it, right? Because things are moving in front of you all the time. So Irma, all those years of telling patients to drink that one more glass, now you know, right?
Definitely. Oh, come on, drink some more, try it, and usually works because you can tell. I mean, you cannot see if you have stool in the bowel. It will not give you a clear picture.
Not because she's standing next to me, but Irma on the floor was a great friend because she understands the need for just what she said. And when you work with a patient, Irma, and you encourage them, and you're understanding that another glass is a challenge, when you understand that, then you're willing to work with them to get them cleaned out for a good reason.
Well, definitely, and it's for their welfare and for the doctors too. So you know you're doing your job, and it was always fun working up there with you, Dr. D. And your son Michael too.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed working with
the
Michael.
third generation.
Your dad would be very proud, Dr.
Yeah, he would. He would be. He would
On
be.
the point, and Delaware and Billings.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. 735 Delaware Street. It's no longer there, but it's
a beautiful flag.
It
It's
is.
a monument
Yeah.
and a walk there. So that's a great,
It
it's
is.
a tribute to your
Well,
family.
Thank you. It was a great time, great chance. Living in Paulsboro, the people were the best. They really are, and I count them as my dear friends.
And we always say Dr. D from Paulsboro.
That's right.
And you always say you're from Paulsboro.
Billingsport School and Lounge Slacker.
Yes. Well, in fact, you were a classmate of my cousin John Cameron.
Absolutely.
In Mississippi, and he always asked about you.
Yeah.
And you always about him. It's great.
John's a with good people. He's very smart. John was one of the ones that with me they moved us along a little as an experiment in those days, and
Right.
we both turned out okay, so I guess it worked.
Yes, John now manages 5 funeral parlors in Mississippi.
Wow. Well, I hope I don't visit him too soon now.
Nah.
Glenn, how we doing over there?
Perfect. He's doing great. It's going to be the most relaxing part of his day. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no cell phones.
What kind of numbers, Jeff?
Blood pressure is 111/78. His heart rate 71. His saturation is 100%. He's a very good end-tidal CO2 tracer. That's what we like to say.
All good numbers.
Very good. Wish they were my number.
I believe that fluid's only from prep, is that right?
Yeah, it's left. It's a little. We have to keep suctioning, and we're putting fluid in, water in to help drain some of the other fluid, and that gives us a good look.
Your colon gets a real good bath.
It does.
You might as well really clean that.
You don't need to. The body's an incredible organ in itself, because it can clean. People say to me, well, should I take those colon cleanse and all those purgatives? And the truth of the matter is, if you eat a high fiber diet, as John says he does, and you clear the colon out, it clears itself. Each day it's completely clean so that there isn't any material attached to the walls. What we're doing is we're going in advance, and when we see fluid, I have a cold here. When we see fluid, we go back, and then we go back up again and remove it as we come back with the suction that we have. At the same time, we may irrigate as needed. And by doing this every 5 years, we catch any recurrent polyps. You know, when John first had his polyp, he could very well, if they had been left in by now, we say it takes about 5 to 10 years to go from a clean colon to a cancer, and if they don't remove those materials, that could have gone on to be a threatening cancer. So for those people, Irma, who don't want to have this exam, just know that you're doing the best you can to keep yourself out of harm's way, especially with a second away from the second leading cause of cancer death in both men and women, and that's colon cancer. As we said earlier, women should go for mammography and usual gynecologic checkups, etc. And if you don't smoke, your risk of lung cancer is much less. So you do what you can do as you get older to try and avoid these problems. And colonoscopy has been cost effective in terms of preventing colon cancer if it's done at appropriate intervals.
This only takes a couple hours out of your time the day, and you're done. Everything's okay. You're 5 years, you're back. That's it. So definitely mammogram for us girls, and gynae checkup, of course. Sorry, but also with PSA, with prostate, with the gentleman.
That's right. That's right. And seeing your family physician is very important. He or she will be able to tell you what particular risk by taking a good family history. They're your best friend, your family physician. Establish a relationship, keep in touch, make sure that if your blood pressure is high, you control it with medication or diet. And they'll also know your family history, they'll know you, they'll know what you're at risk of having, and they'll do the appropriate things to keep you, again, out of harm's way if they can. And what we're going to do now is we're almost out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out this last little bit of fluid, and then what I'm going to do is what we call retroflex, which means the scope, which is fully flexible, will actually come back on itself. And that way we'll be able to look at the very entrance of the colon. What you see here now is where the colonoscope is coming in through the rectum itself, and the little blue areas there are veins. If they were very swollen, that would be what we call a hemorrhoid. That's what a hemorrhoid looks like before it gets real big. It's a little blue like that area. I don't know if you can pick this up on the camera or not. And good news is that John does not have any problem with the hemorrhoids now. This also gives us the ability to look, because if you're looking straight on, if you could imagine always looking straight ahead, you may not see what's behind you. And this gives us the ability to look behind us. So now we're coming out, and the examination is over.
Multi-policy discount, paperless discount, paid in full discount, homeowners discount, safe driver discount, chipmunk family reunion, someone stole the nuts, squirrel jail, justice.
Countless discounts. Now that's progressive. Call or click today.
Thinking about a new appliance or an LCD TV? Don't think twice, think Weiss. White's True Value has a full line of LCD TVs plus a great variety of appliances. And of course, hardware items like True Test paints, master mechanic tools, electrical supplies, key duplicating, and rug doctor rentals. And for repairs on screens and windows, look no further. White's True Value, from making keys to selling appliances and LCD TVs. Don't think twice, think Weiss. 39 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
For everything, there's a season, and a time for everything under heaven. A time for sharing, a time for caring, a time for remembering, and a time for parting. When that time arrives, let Beth McBride Foley and Thomas D. Foley at the McBride Foley Funeral Home help you in your time of need. Offering a wide variety of funeral services from cremation to traditional, McBride Foley Funeral Home has been helping families with the loss of a loved one with over 50 years of combined service. McBride Foley Funeral Home, 228 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
Well, we're close to completing the day. I'm now sitting with Dr. DiMarino to get the results of the work that he did, and I'm only 20 minutes outside of recovery. Now, I don't feel like I would like to drive, and I'm certainly not necessarily foggy, but Janice is here to drive me. Irma's here, as you saw, and I will not be driving as the course of the day goes on. Even though I have a full day when I leave here, I have other people to drive me. So, Doctor, first of all, it was really kind of you to have us in, because you blocked out some of the mornings, so there was a little more time, because normally it's a different pace, but he was very kind to open his doors. The staff was generous. So what happened?
You did very well.
Well, all I did was lay there, so for me, I didn't really have to do much at all.
You did a great job. First of all, it's important, I think, John, that you mentioned the fact that you took the prep and you split it apart so that you had time to recover between the drinking the fluid. And you got cleaned out. We talked about it during the show. You haven't seen it, obviously. You were a little sleepy, but you did very well. You got cleaned out. I was able to see everything I needed to see, and it was a good examination. And the good news is there's no sign of another polyp. So, in 5 years, you should have another exam just to make sure that you don't have a new polyp forming, and it'll be removed at that time if, in fact, it occurs. In the meantime, should you develop any symptoms along the way, change in your bowel, bleeding, pain, weight loss, etc., then give us a call and come see us again. But in the meantime, you're good for 5 years.
How about the diverticulitis, as you mentioned, for going in, because that creeps as age passes. I love popcorn. Is that continue to progress, or?
No, your diverticulosis is the presence of the pockets. If they get infected, that's called diverticulitis, and you do not have diverticulitis. You have diverticulosis. Good news is there's no sign of more diverticulosis since last time. In terms of diet, you really basically don't have to worry too much. High fiber is what you really should have. And in fact, we think the reason you have diverticulosis is because as a young child growing up, you did not have a high fiber diet, if you're like the rest of us. Yeah. And you're more likely to form diverticulosis in that setting. At least that's our concept now. But as far as, avoiding certain foods, it used to be that we would say popcorn, nuts, corn itself. And the theory being, and there's a little pamphlet here which I'm giving you, which you'll explain much of this again in writing, but these were pockets or outpouchings on the colon, and these outpouchings sometimes can gather food or material, and as you know, corn and popcorn particularly, and sometimes nuts don't get fully digested, so they're kind of passed out the way you eat them. But if that happens, it could get into one of these little pockets. And the theory was stay away from that because it might get into one of these pockets, irritate it, and then cause diverticulitis. But I see no signs of diverticulitis, and I'd rather you to have a high fiber diet. And if that means a little bit of corn now and again and popcorn or nuts, go for it. Just chew it well and enjoy.
But from a standpoint of the practice, you just don't walk in off the street for this procedure. So it requires referrals. How does it work?
Yeah, the most important person here is your family physician. You're developing a relationship with somebody, your personal physician, knowing what your particular needs are, whether they be for high blood pressure checks, for diabetes checks, etc. And of course, colonoscopy is an important preventative test, as we talked about earlier, to prevent the second leading cause of cancer in men and women in the United States. So it's very important that at the appropriate time you have a colonoscopy. So your primary care physician would say to you, John, it's time to have a colonoscopy. And if the general rule is if you have no family history of somebody with a polyp or cancer of the colon, it's age 50, you should have a colonoscopy. If you have a first-degree relative, father, mother, brother, sister, or child who has had a polyp or a colon cancer, we like to start at age 40. And for African American, and this is an important point, and it's one which is in evolution in terms of the theory of this, we think that even in no-risk situations, African Americans should be screened at age 45, whereas the rest of the population at age 50. And the reason for that is because there is a higher incidence in the black population in the United States. So we really like our colleagues, our friends, to get in a little bit earlier there.
It's all very good advice. And Irma and I are going to come back for community notes, and we're going to do it from this room. But the idea of the show today was to give you a sense of what this procedure is. And I have to say, and I mean it sincerely, Dr. DiMarino's personality extends through his staff and the people he has assembled here as his partners and the support staff. And it is a place where you will not feel uncomfortable. So after you get over the initial thought of being squeamish about the procedure, you got a sense today that you as the patient, after you prepare for the event, not too bad. And it can lead to just better health and just a good quality. So there's always other things, but this is one thing that's avoidable with a little bit of attention. So we're very grateful to the doctor and his family. He is a Gloucester County guy. He's a Paulsboro guy. Has never forgotten his roots, and his personality really exemplifies that he was raised in a family setting that appreciates manners and respect and how you treat one another. And you feel that when you come in here. So I'm happy to leave with good news today. There will be a time when I visit him when maybe the news isn't so good, but then there's other things to do at that point. But you got to stay on it. We're going to come back with community notes with Irma, and she'll give you her overview of a visit in the procedure room. We'll be right back. Thank you, Doctor.
Life is a journey that we travel with a lot of uncertainty. When your family is faced with change and you're in need of understanding, direction, honesty, and professionalism, we at the Landolfi Funeral Home have a tradition of assisting you with all of your needs in any way that we can. We offer many affordable funeral services. Please feel free to call us with any questions you may have or visit us at www.landolfifuneralhome.com.
Rizzo Family Chiropractic Center in Gibbstown offers pain relief with a difference. Using specific chiropractic adjustments, Rizzo Family Chiropractic will get to the root of your problem quickly. Bring your headaches, neck, back, joint, or limb pain to Dr. Karen Rizzo. If you have recurring pain, chiropractic can help. Rizzo Family Chiropractic can relieve many sources of pain without extended treatment and ongoing therapy. Give your family the gift of caring professional pain relief with a difference. Rizzo Family Chiropractic.
Welcome back. It's been a different kind of show, but we hope you have found it informative. If you could watch it, some people are a little, this kind of thing they don't like to see. But we thought from a community standpoint, service standpoint, it probably made sense. And Dr. DiMarino's willingness to do it. Remember, we were welcomed here. They arranged the morning, plenty of time, and you're a nurse, so this is not something different for you to see. But I thought if we were going to have the Eye on Paulsboro crew here, you had to be in it.
John, it was a great lesson in anatomy. Also, 5 years ago, you had a polyp, which was precancerous. If you didn't do anything then, and you came back now, the story could have been different. They do it with modesty, respect. They're great. Dr. D, of course, is a Paulsboro guy, so I wouldn't have anybody else do it. But Dr. D, I'll be here June the 3rd for probably my 6th or 7th.
Oh, you're ahead of me, okay.
Wow, John, I'm just a couple of years older than you. But prevention is number one, and it's easy. It's not a fire hose. You were sound asleep. That's the only time I ever seen you without cell phones. And Dr. D and his staff were professional and excellent.
Friendly people.
Well, of course, he's from Paulsboro. What do you want, John? Okay, community notes. Happy birthday to Brian Zane, Carl Merrill, Zach Guerin, Ida O'Leary, Drake Williams, Dana Funk, Mike O'Leary Sr., Alyssa Yamabushi, Russell Carter, Nick Croce, Nancy Fleming, Margaret Ledoux, Tim Ganal, Patty Farrow, Jean Burke Drake, Pauline Salvatore, Jerry Polick, and Marie Gezzi. Happy anniversaries to Bonnie and John Haddock, John and Dawn O'Hara, Moretta and Pat Relations, Angie and Ray Gezzi Jr., and Karen and Dennis Minix. Happy birthdays, happy anniversaries, John. I noticed, John, we're having another Red Zone football camp. thanks to Isaac Redmond again, June 28th and 29th. Email redzone camp at Comcast.net. This is great, John, and they had over 300 kids. Isaac Redmond has come back again to Paulsboro High School, so I think it's Paulsboro helping Paulsboro. So
well, so that's a good example. The kids enjoy it, and he brings some of his friends with it, and so it's a very personal touch, and it's important for people not to forget where they came from.
Right, and this year I'll be home. I won't be in Paris, so I'm going down and John. Due to the not even due to the derailment, but because of the derailment, shelter in place. What is it? What do I do? What do I need? The American Red Cross is presenting shelter in place. Thursday, May the 2nd, 2013, Broad Street School, 7 to 7:45 and 7:45 to 8:30. And Saturday, May 4th, Paulsboro High School Auditorium, 10 to 10:45, 10:45 to 11:30. You may attend the session most convenient for you. It's sponsored, God bless you, John, sponsored by the Gibbstown and Paulsboro Community Gap Cap. There was a lot of questions on what should I do in shelter in place. So hopefully we never have another derailment, John, but this will help us.
Well, and also, we'll do a segment on that at a given point. We handed out the placards years ago. We're going to go back and do this because although this incident happened in Paulsboro, the way the winds blow, things can happen. Our neighboring towns, this information of how you protect yourself, because it could happen in time of hurricane, man-made circumstances, so that's worthwhile.
So please, it will be in the paper. So, John, our Chinese auction, sponsored by our Paulsboro Day Committee at Billingsport School on Saturday, April 20th. Doors open at 5. Auction starts at 6. This is great. Call 856-341-3309. This is for, so our amusement rides and entertainment will be free. Many places that have their days, they charge the kids. Paulsboro does not charge our kids, John, so I think that's great.
It's a big help.
Also, this is very important. People, you're doing your spring cleaning. The Borough of Paulsboro Open Shred Day event. Protect yourself and your family from identity theft and take a step towards going green. The first scheduled event is May the 11th from 9 to 12 at Billingsport School on Nassau Avenue. Second event will be October the 12th at the Borough parking lot. Call the Borough Hall with any questions. This is great, John. Clean out all your old stuff. Oh.
Very important. I may send my checkbook over because it's no sense having it around.
Now, also, gang awareness lecture. This program is given by the Borough of Paulsboro governing body, presented by Detective Brad Thompson, Gloucester County Prosecutor's Office, Tuesday, May the 7th, 4:30 to 6 at the Administration Building. Do we have gangs in Paulsboro? I don't know, John, but it's, they could have them in Cherry Hill, Moorestown, wherever. So just makes you aware. If you see something that you know isn't kosher, you can always help our policemen.
Good advice all the way around. Again, we hope you enjoyed the show. Different kind of program. Really thank Fred for getting up early in the morning. He's not a morning person. His first question was, there's a 6:30 in the morning, not just in the evening. And likewise myself as well, and Irma, and to Janice, who also is going to drive me from here. So, Irma?
Well, John, thank you to Dr. DiMarino staff. Thank you to you, people. Talk to your primary doctor. And if you're 50 or 40, whatever, it's time. It's easy.
Precaution is a big step in prevention. So, and I say to all of you who watch this, I'm leaving here for a full business day. Leaving here, got here at 6:45. Going to leave here at what time is it? 9:30, but that's because we took a little longer with the show. Going to have breakfast, heading out to a lunch meeting, have a dental appointment, and then head on to Rutgers, Newark to be part of the forum this evening. So my day is full, so you can work this in. Take advantage of it if your circumstances call for it. For Bill Crane, our producer, who couldn't be with us, for Fred Buchter behind the camera, Irma.
See you on Broad Street.
In Paulsboro, that is. This show came to you from our county seat in Woodbury. Till next time.